Welcome to Gail's Garden Herbs and More. This calendula looks a little pathetic. We've had snow and very cold weather. I put a bunch of leaves and pine needles around the bottom of the plant trying to protect my hawthorn bush here, and I did some trimming on it and several of my others. You may say, where you been, Miss Gail? Just trying to decide whether, so many times I think, what is the use of this channel? They just hold me back. Keep dropping subscriptions, they drop my views. But anyway, if I feel like it, I'll do it until I decide what I want to do. I don't know. I've been doing a lot of things. I trimmed back my Rose of Sharon a little. I also trimmed this blueberry. What I'm trimming is a lot of inside branches I cut out, or branches that were going crazy and rubbing against another one in a funny direction and all of that. So this one down here kind of crosses over, but it's not really rubbing on anything. This one here, and I hate to cut it out because then I might get some, I've cut so much, I want to still get some blueberries this year. So I don't want to cut too much. I did that on some others too. And then a lot of things like my chocolate mint I covered with pine needles and leaves. And I've been planting. Well, let's go back here. I've got some here. This is, I planted this with rainbow chard because I knew it was going to rain this weekend. And it's good to plant just before a rain. Okay. And then I've been working along this fence. Eventually I want to plant beans this summer, but right now I've got, let's see, where are they at? I think it's the sugar peas are right in through here. And then, yeah, just a small area of sugar peas there. And then I've got fava beans along there. And then I planted some radishes here. So those are some things you can plant this time of year. Probably better if you had a greenhouse to plant them inside of. My greenhouse is stuffed full of stuff, so I'm just going to take a chance, and hopefully, we're supposed to be kind of cold this month, but it's actually been a little bit warmer. We're actually like just above freezing, 33, 34 in there, 35. So during the day we get up to maybe 40, 45. I don't know what it is today. Okay, and I don't know. I've been doing a lot of different things. Okay, I got those fence posts over there. I put some fencing in along there. Cleaned up that big messy pile I was showing you guys, telling you we was going to get it down. And we did. I got it burned. And I plant over there. I planted my lavender. It was just soaking wet and not draining well enough. For some reason, that pot, I don't want it to drain too much because in the summer it gets so dry here, but so I'll use it later for something else. But I got it planted. I got my lavender planted in the ground, so hopefully those soggy roots can dry out a little. I transplanted something else. I don't know where it's at right now, or what it was I transplanted. I know I transplanted something else. And then I moved the goats and separated them. They've got, this part of the pen was taken down all around the outside out there. I'm going to be growing in there where the goats were right in this side. It's going to be nice and rich soil. I'm right now thinking I'm going to plant maybe squash, maybe a pumpkin or something. I've got some winter squash and some regular squash, things like that in there. And then this little section over here, I don't know. I've got so many herbs I want to plant. And I've got started with my lavender. Maybe I'll just make that a big herb area. I really don't know at this point as just things go. I'm really kind of cramped. This is not a very big area here. And I'll be taking all the pots out of the greenhouse when it starts getting warmer. And it looks like the wind blew that off. So let me see here. Well, looks a little better anyway. Okay, now on the fence, I took out this section here. I've got herbs down here. It's yarrow. But I put there, and then I put some panels there. I still got to go around and do some more fencing, but so the deer don't come in here. There's no fencing right here, but I just put this bright rope across the top. They say sometimes if they see a log or something across, they won't jump. And if there's nothing there, they'll just jump it. But if you have something bright or a big fat log, a lot of times they won't jump it. I don't know why. It's just a psychological thing with deer. We'll see. I have to dump the water after the rains from here, but I got all kinds of plants under there. This is my kale tree. I can't cover all of it, but the kale trees actually handle cold and snow, and nothing has seemed to bother it. But I have carrots and lettuces and different things underneath around the outside of the kale tree. I want to kind of keep them protected a little bit. So this big aloe vera has not handled the cold well at all. The outside leaves are pretty dead, but there is still some life in the middle, so hopefully it'll be okay. I'm just out of plastic and out of materials and out of money to buy materials, so I have to make do with what I have. Let me show you what I found. Look at this. I dug this out of the woods. There's a whole pile. Just think what you can do with tin. It rained on it, so it got cleaned up a little bit. This one is tipped. It didn't get cleaned so well. I laid it over here. Let me show you. Okay, we'll go back in here. There were a lot of little pieces, too, that I drug out. I had to literally dig this out of about a foot of pine needles, leaves, and dirt. Okay, back in here. I gotta bend down to get in here. Had my shovel back here, but there's more. I gotta finish digging this out. It's just, there were vines, and I had to break loose and dig stuff off. This was probably a foot and a half down. I've got it all dug off the top. I carried a lot of that stuff, threw it out in the garden, threw a bunch in the chicken pen for them to scratch through to give them something to do. But I don't know how many more pieces under here, but there's more under here. I am so excited because you can put that on a roof, and it really helps. But anyway, it was so much work just to get those few pieces out. And I've had to do some other stuff, so I'll get back to work on this another day. But yeah, this is really, really exciting. And it's okay. I can have it. The person that I rent from, he's like 80, and he doesn't do anything with the property anymore. I found an old cage, too. Where'd that go? And he don't care if I use this stuff, because I give him stuff from produce from my garden. I give him eggs, and part of it's sticking up there, but it's so rusted. I think there was probably a rabbit or something in there, because I've found rabbit feeders and stuff around here. And it's so rusty, I don't know if it's any good. It's got a bunch of vines tied to the bottom. I may try to get that broke loose and see, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to be any good. But the metal is still useful. It's starting to rot, though. I'm glad I found it now. So, yeah, that was exciting. It's like treasure hunting around here. This thing I had tied up on the top, hanging down for my chickens. But it was leaking water down the side and got into the food and molded, and I don't want them getting mold, so I took it out of their pen. I need to get it cleaned up again, and in the summer I can use it. It's so open. But in the summer I can use it for feed and stuff. So, and I've found, other stuff too. A lot of stuff I've scavenged around here. Not a whole lot, but a few things. I've actually really been pretty busy, guys, between the rains. I put a tarp over the top of that because that is so old. It's got little pinholes all through it. And so I just put a tarp over the top of it. And I've got some hay in there because, she scared me. Her head was laying over sideways, and I thought she died, but she was just sleeping in a funny position. So I turned my camera back on. But I've got her separated from the buck, and I'm feeding her hay so she'll get some roughage, because there's nothing left in this pen. It's all been eaten down. And she needs roughage. Get your head out of there before you get caught and choked. I've got to tighten that somehow. Yeah, I see you, girl. I see you. She's definitely pregnant, but he was not letting her eat enough, and she needs to have food. So I've been giving her hay, and I've been graining her. You're not supposed to grain the bucks. Grain's not good for the bucks, but for the females, it's fine. So I've been graining her and giving her hay, and she gets pellets occasionally too. He mainly just gets pellets, but he's out grazing and eating bark and leaves and stuff. Plus they get I have a special mineralized pellet of minerals that they both get too, so that they get the minerals that they need. But yeah, and then I put some of the tin, I just held it on with some rocks, but to give her an overhang because the wind was blowing the rain inside. But with that little overhang, it's actually kept dry in there. Even with her going in and out with wet hooves, it's still really dry. I put wood chips in there for her. And then the stores have all been out of wood chips. Everywhere in town is out of wood chips and haven't gotten any in for a couple weeks now, so this shortages everywhere. I'm seeing shortages. Unbelievable, you guys. Are you seeing them? I am. But a Chinese spy balloon, and there was more than one. So they said they saw another one. Well, my daughter saw one. She didn't know about the Chinese spy balloon. It was at midnight she had gotten up. And she described it, and she didn't know anything about it. I started telling her the next day about the Chinese spy balloon. And she said, Mom, I never saw it. Anything about it. She goes, it was midnight when I was up, and it was right over my trailer, fairly low. They're not supposed to be down that low. I wonder if it came down and crashed somewhere or something. I don't know. But it had a light. She said there was a light shining right through her skylight into her bathroom. And but she definitely described, she said it was gigantic, huge, white balloon-like thing. And so nobody's talked about that being here in California. She said somebody she heard say that there was one coming out west, but that one that was over Montana, I'm hearing somebody said it went over Missouri, and now it's on the East Coast. Is it the same one, or is there many balloons? Because my daughter saw one, and she described it. It was at midnight, so probably not anybody else seen it. She was probably the only one awake during that time, during the middle of work week. But I don't know if anybody else saw it or not, but she did. So how many are there that we don't even know about? I don't know. Maybe, I don't want to put scare tactics or anything. All I know is my daughter's not a liar. And I don't know what else it would have been. But anyway, yeah, I wonder what that red is in there. I'm looking at something red down there in the pen. There's two. One kind of towards the gate and one up by a rock. I have to get in there and check things out and see what it is. Looks like a red cloth or something. I don't know. No matter all the stuff that's going on, just there's a lot we can't do. There's some things, just do the best we can where we're at and keep on keeping on. As situations may change or develop, and then we have to be flexible and go with it and not stress. There's a lot of things I could tell you that's going on, but I'm not going to. There's no sense. I mean, we all know there's stuff happening that shouldn't be. But my trust isn't in man. It's not in the government. My trust is in the Lord Jesus Christ, my Heavenly Father. And, they know. They know what's going on. And my permanent home's not here. But while I'm here, making the best of it. And that's what we've got to do. And I'm going to leave you all with that, hoping that you have a good rest of your weekend and upcoming week. God bless. Give me a thumbs up if you would. And I'll catch you next time. Bye, guys.